He was born by emergency C-section at 25 weeks and just lived for 12 hours, which was so difficult and another story on its own. But I believe that Rad Swim was such a blessing because it helped pull me through such a hard time.
Welcome back to the Maeband podcast. We are here with Michelle and Khyl Shumway, the owners of Rad Swim.
Yep. Very excited. I don't know if you've seen, Holly's done some stories on them before, and they just got a really cool swimsuit line here you're based out of Utah, right?
Yeah.
So we're just going to let them kind of talk about their business and kind of give you an idea of what they do.
Yeah, we're super excited to have them here. And today we're going to hear about the Rad Swim story. So
lots to tell.
That's good.
Thanks for having us, Holly and Brian. We're excited to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. How much dirt do you want? Do you want us to go
We want all the
way
dirt.
in depth?
We want all
It's
the dirt.
more sand than dirt.
I was going to say.
We'll take the sand too. I'm good with it all.
Awesome.
First of all, I'll just say this. We didn't get paid to push these swimsuits, but Holly got one, like a week ago? Mm-hmm. And it was the best she's ever looked in a swimsuit. And I told her that. I was like, I swear to you, this is she looks good in all swimsuits, but I was like, holy cow, I like this. So I'm just saying.
It looks good in everything.
I'm just saying, it makes you look amazing.
And I was actually surprised because I was like, I don't have any one pieces. And it was a one piece that I got. And I wear like two pieces, but I wear like the longer tops,
like a tank top over.
Yeah, like a tank teeny two piece.
Yeah.
But I don't have any one pieces. And so this was like the first one piece I wore. And my husband loved it. I was like, I would have thought that, my husband would have liked a two piece, but no,
I can't imagine Holly not looking cute in a swimsuit.
Holly always looks so cute in everything. Yeah. And that makes me so happy to hear.
And it made me feel good. The way he was looking at me. And I was like, oh, my husband desires me.
I love that.
Yeah.
She does look good, but your swimsuit was amazing. And our girls, they absolutely loved them. They loved they have princess themes on some of the swimsuits. And our daughter, when she saw, because she was Snow White for Halloween. And when she saw this, she was like in love. It was super cute. Maybe we can show some pictures. I don't know, but it was amazing.
Oh, I love that.
So it was very cool.
That's where the joy is.
Yeah.
Seeing how much other people love the products and how it's helping people.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's obviously helping people because we're sitting in a store where there's how many different styles do you have now?
Probably hundreds.
Hundreds,
Yeah.
There's hundreds. It looks amazing in here. It's
Thank
very
you.
Cool. So,
and every single swimsuit, feel like I have a story behind where I'm like, oh, I remember when, whatever, Kyle helped with this and Taylor helped with this. And I don't know, just they're all little stories to me.
When did you start? Whose idea was it? Did you start together? Did you start, how did the idea happen?
So about 9 years ago, Kyle and I decided to have a fifth baby. This might sound random, but it ties back together. We have 4 daughters, and we were like, okay, our youngest was, I think, 3, and we thought, well, let's try again for another one. We've always wanted a big family. And anyway, what we didn't realize was, back up a little bit. That same month, out of the blue, I also had a really good feeling to start a modest swimwear company. It hit me one morning so strong, and it was like this really good feeling and just a strong impression, I felt like. So
sorry, were you thinking about swimwear at that point? It just popped in your head, just like modest swimwear.
It was more like a feeling than a thought.
That's crazy. That's cool.
Yeah, and it was awesome. Very specific, right? Mm-hmm. And also, I was a busy mom, and I knew we wanted to have a fifth baby. So it was kind of a confusing, not confusing, but I just, at the time was like, I'm going to do this. I don't know how, but I have to do it.
It was crazy how clear it was too. I still distinctly remember I was just sitting there, and Michelle came running in from the other room, and she's like, Kyle, I'm going to start a modest swimwear company. I still remember exactly how she said it and the look on her face. She was just almost glowing,
That's
like
cool.
she had just experienced like this huge epiphany. Yeah. It was really cool.
That's cool.
I love that you remember that.
And so like, what was your feelings as the husband? Like when she's like, hey, we're starting this business.
I thought to myself, number one, that is totally random.
Yeah.
But number two, like she's never come to me and like, she's always said, wouldn't it be cool if someone ... Like everyone has these good ideas. But this is the first time when she said, I'm going to do this. And it didn't evolve into that. It's just all of a sudden was that. And her dad was a really successful entrepreneur. And so I knew that she had it in her to do a similar thing. So after thinking about it for less than like a minute or two, I was like, she's going to do this and it's going to do great things. So.
Thank you, Khyl. And it was really cool because Khyl was so supportive. So had he not just been like, oh yeah, do it, maybe I would have doubted but he was very supportive from the get-go. And we got pregnant right away, and it ended up being a really complex pregnancy from the very beginning, thinking I was gonna have a miscarriage. So I was on bed rest a lot. And while I was on bed rest, I just kept thinking about this modest swimwear company and started drawing like designs and thinking like, oh, how would I market it? And just coming up with all these things. And as the pregnancy progressed, it got even more and more complex to the point where my water broke when I was 21 weeks pregnant, but I stayed pregnant miraculously. And Khyl was taking care of the girls and doing everything else the whole time. So it made it possible because he just, took care of everything. So I just had to lay there. And what else are you gonna do when you're laying there? I tried watching some shows and just wasn't really into Pretty Little Liars as much as I could have been. And it
was interesting because Michelle is very active. She's always just like hustling around the house and picking up and taking care of the kids. And so it was so weird to see her be in bed all day. I'm like, that's so uncommon for her. So yeah, I tried to fill in where I could.
Yeah, Khyl did a great job.
No one can really fill those shoes. But
that's cool. I think it's kind of interesting. Like, because I didn't know that was your story. Like, that you had a feeling. Like, I don't know if you knew Holly's was similar. Like the same thing. It was like, she's like, hey, I think I should start this business and create this thing. And I'm like, okay, kind of the same way. I'm just like, all right, cool, do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Anything to get me out of my job. I wanted a sugar mama. So I'm like, hey.
And we can't really talk about it without saying what to me is totally obvious. We believe in God, and Michelle strongly believes that it was, revelation just directly to her that that's something that she should do. And so she acted on that.
I absolutely believe that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And as the story played out, you'll see why I was able to realize that it was such a tender mercy for our family and just such a blessing now. But so from 21 weeks to 25 weeks pregnant, I really wasn't allowed to get out of bed unless I had to go to the bathroom, or something like that. So I continued to work really hard in Rad Swim, ordered my first 3 swimsuits in bulk. They were, they arrived at our house. They were beautiful. We came up with obviously the brand name and all of our logos, and I had my marketing plan, who I was gonna reach out to as soon as it was time. And just at the same time, waiting for our baby to be born, who now, I was very high risk. And at almost 25 weeks pregnant, I was in the hospital at that point because they admitted me at 24 weeks pregnant, just waiting for our son to be born. He was born by emergency C-section at 25 weeks and just lived for 12 hours, which was so difficult and another story on its own. But I believe that Rad Swim was such a blessing because it helped pull me through such a hard time, and it helped Khyl as well. Just it unified us, and we came home from the hospital and didn't have our baby, and that was so hard. But I realized a few months later that Rad Swim was almost like a little baby because we grew it together and worked on it with our whole family, and it was just such a blessing.
Very cool.
What did you say? What year this was?
2014.
2014.
So 9
I
years.
miss
Holy
anything?
cow.
No, you didn't.
That was cool. That's and how did you guys come up with the name Rad? Just curious. I've always wondered that.
Oh man, we booted around. We punted ideas and names back and forth and lots of cutesy names, Yeah.
It really was just kind of I actually don't even know. It just was it's kind of like picking a baby name.
Just came to you.
Sometimes it's like, a lot of people are like, is it an acronym for something? And I've been like, well, it could be like really awesome designs, or, like relax and daydream, or running and like,
relax and daydream.
Our son's name is Rockwell. And I thought, it could have been like Rockwell and Dad, because my dad's also in heaven. And but there's all these, but it doesn't actually stand for anything.
It really just means rad.
It just means rad. I just think it's a cool word, and it
So did you feel like
our brand well?
Did you feel like the name was inspired?
I don't know. I didn't feel like super guided about the name. I think
just found something you liked.
Yeah, I just found something we liked.
Gotcha.
But most things about Rad Swim, I really feel like are, and I don't doubt that was as well. I just maybe don't remember as much.
I feel like he was really bold. I mean, my initial thought was, is that even like available? Like, does someone have that trademarked or whatever?
And it started out as Rad Swimwear.
Rad Swimwear, LLC.
And then slowly we were just shortened it to, Rad Swim sounds cute.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
I like the name.
I loved it. When you were like, it's going to be Rad Swim, I was like, yes, that is so cool. It's just cool.
That's so rad.
Yeah, it's super rad. Yeah.
And it was so fun because I had like sisters helping like with designs, and we were saying we should find the cutest like bikinis at Victoria's Secret and make them modest. And Victoria's Secret had
Victoria's Secret swim line, you mean?
Swim line, sorry.
Yeah.
Victoria's Secret had the super cute like sequin bikini, and I'm like, why can that not be like a modest one piece? Mm-hmm. So that was one of our first swimsuits, was just a sequin top, light pink one piece.
That's cool. So how many, like over the years, obviously we look around the store and there's a ton of swimsuits here. So do you design them all yourself?
With Khyl actually is our graphic designer, and he comes up with sometimes my very favorite designs. Believe it or not.
Well, our design process is totally morphed. Like in the beginning, it was Michelle almost exclusively, and obviously she gets lots of inspiration from like Pinterest and from friends and from other current fashion designs. But then it kind of turned into like she's getting feedback from me, which I don't know if that went super well, but it was fun to give input. And now it's really cool to see Michelle work with our daughters, because we have a couple of teens and a couple of tweens, and they're very vocal about what they feel like is in fashion, and they give lots of input. And Michelle is so cool because she'll take their input, and like these, for example, these retro styles, for example, these are like, and if you're just listening to the podcast, they have like a swirly, colorful retro design. These are like, our daughters gave heavy input on these, and they're
like my daughter Brighton, right now she's 13, but last year she found the file for this print right here.
Oh, that is cool. Wow.
She's like, this is the cutest one, Mom, you have to do this, and anyway, it's so cool. Yeah, these especially behind us, I felt like were very much them. I trust their opinion more than my own sometimes.
So
they're always shopping.
I feel like that's really cool to see them work together as a team.
Mm-hmm. Have like a family.
It's so cool.
Work together.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, because you said it was kind of like revelation and you felt inspired to do this, was it just smooth sailing? Or did you have any struggles?
No bumps. No.
No problem whatsoever.
Yeah, there are definitely times when I would just cry and think, why am I doing this? This is so hard. Many times just, wow, wouldn't it be easy if I could just, just clean the house and just take care of the kids? But then it's always those thoughts are always taken over by how grateful I am for how far we've come and what a blessing it's been in our lives. And I think it's easier to see the blessings though, like when you go through all the hard things, because there's just the opposition and you're like
100%.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
It is hard work, definitely. It's always on our minds, like how to, should we be doing more? Like, are we doing something weird, or should we just try to sell it and, move to Bali, or I don't know.
Yeah. I do have to say though, I don't think there was ever a moment where I thought we're going to go under, or I'm going to have to stop, or anything like that. I think because I know how important this is, and I have always in my prayers said, if I'm supposed to stop, let me know and I will. But until then, I'm going to keep moving forward as long as I'm supposed to. Mm-hmm. So even when there have been many days where I've just been discouraged or just cried a lot, because it's so hard and can feel so heavy, especially wanting to be the best mom I can be and the best sister and daughter and neighbor and wife. And you're trying to wear all these hats and sometimes it feels heavy. But in those moments, if I remember my mission and my vision and my purpose and say more prayers, I always feel strengthened. And someone will send a message just at the right moment that says, I'm so glad that you make modest swimsuits. Cool. My daughter feels so happy in her swimsuit. And that's what keeps me going. I'm like, this is helping people, I could never stop as long as I know that.
Yeah. I like what you said, because I think it's really important, especially as somebody who has this kind of passion. Like we've talked about this on the podcast, is like where you feel like you have a purpose that can push you beyond what I think you think your limits are. Like you're
totally.
Like, this is my purpose. I can, things suck right now, but I can keep going. And I know we've done the same thing. It's like, okay, this is our purpose. We're trying to come to the conclusion that, like, because I've been lost for a long time. I was like, I don't know what my purpose is. It's not this. It's not this. But then I was just like, okay, I'm, through our YouTube channel, we're bringing happiness and joy to kids around the world. And so I'm like, okay, that's an awesome purpose. I can get behind that. And then, because I used to threaten to quit like once a week. I'm like, I hate this. This is so dumb.
What? I've never been there.
I can't imagine.
I have no idea. I cannot relate.
Yeah. These guys have a YouTube channel as well, a Shumway show. Check that out. But yeah, it's the same thing, huh? You get there and you're like, I'm done.
Totally.
And so since I've decided, I'm like, okay, this is a purpose and it's something important, like, because I've always wanted to do something, to help kids. And I'm like, okay, I used to think that I was going to be like saving them through like Operation Underground Railroad stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go kill some people and protect them. But I guess bringing them happiness and joy is a good thing too, I guess. But yeah,
absolutely.
But I think, I like what you said, how you have a purpose and and it pushes you.
Is there any times where you like felt that we failed? We failed. We're not.
We tried it.
Yeah,
it didn't
we tried
work.
it. It's not going to work. We're
done.
Yeah, definitely with some like certain designs. With Rad, I actually felt like, okay, there were some things that were so perfectly timed that I felt like that only could have happened with Heavenly Father's help, if I can say that.
What
like
specifically?
When we launched the company, I thought this is the worst time to launch ever. It's funny that, because we had just come home we had Rockwell in August. And then a couple months later, Kyle's like, hey, I'm going to build the website, which was a huge blessing because he did that for a living for a while. He built websites.
Oh, nice.
And then he's like, and I can take your pictures because he had a really nice camera and like taking pictures. So we launched in kind of end of December, January. And at the time I was like, this is probably the very worst time.
And Michelle's the perfect model. But yeah, go on.
I was like, can you just do waist up pictures? and that actually was like
true story.
First
she would
pictures.
not let me get any,
I was like, I just need my pants.
I'm like, how are we going to show this?
Just got my jeans on, like my top.
I don't know. I was like, I'm pale and I'm not ready for this, but I slowly just decided to love myself for the size and shape that I am and to not worry too much, but still working on that.
Aren't we all as women? I think we all are. Maybe,
and women.
Maybe men too.
So we launched in January, and you would think that would be the worst time to launch a swimwear company in Utah when it's all snowy. But it turns out it was the best time because that's right when people are going on vacation. And it was a good time to start getting the word out before spring hit. By the time spring hit, I felt like we were off the ground and
we hit
running.
the ground running, yeah.
So if we wouldn't have launched right then, it may have not turned out the same. And I've always felt like that was so inspired, Heavenly Father's timing. It just worked out, and it's always been that way. It's just following whatever feelings, whatever direction we feel like we're supposed to go. Yeah. Just follow it, even if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I like that because I think it's important too. Like as a business owner, you just trust your gut, right? You just trust your gut. Don't go off of like we talked about earlier, the experts. Just go off of what you feel.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, Holly had like this epiphany. That she's like, okay, because we had no idea what we were doing. Well, she didn't. I mean, no, sorry. That sounded weird. Neither of us knew, but she was doing all the work. Okay? So there we go. So she was like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is so hard. And, because getting it on Amazon took a long time, because there's just a big, long process, finding a manufacturer, getting ripped off, getting, this had so many problems. And then like in the last year, when was it? Like last few months, maybe even. And she just had this epiphany. She's like, I've talked to so many people that are in business and nobody knows what they're doing. Everybody's just adapting as they go and just changing. And I just kind of feel like that's small businesses. That's what it is, right?
Yeah. I mean, like I was always looking for like the expert, to do something or to help with my business or tell. And I was like, I've tried to hire so many experts and I end up doing better than the experts. So people there, I don't know, are there experts?
Yeah. Maybe we should be talking to you.
And I think because you know your vision better than anybody else, you know exactly what you want. And
I was
and
going to say the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And you just got to start and just keep moving forward. There's no better time to start than the present time. And you're never going to feel like you're ready. The only way to be ready is to get ready.
That's an important comment because I think a lot of people are that way. They're like, I just not yet. I gotta do this. I gotta put this in place. Because I've talked to a lot of business owners, and it's the same thing. Is I decided I'm going to do it, and I did it. Yeah. People working 9-to-5 jobs, and they're like, I should have done that. Yeah. Right? Those are the people.
I love the fire ready aim, and whatever that is for you, I think it's cool just to get started. Like if it's like, you plan on selling 100 or 5,000 things on Amazon, but why not start by selling just 2 or 3 or 1, know?
And for me, getting started, I was like, I'm just going to put a timer on my phone to work on it, Rad Swim for 10 minutes a day, whether it's designing or
that's literally how she started.
I literally did. So I was like, and little things add up so quickly. And before you know it, you aren't done at 10 minutes. You're like, well, wait. I need to do this still, and it's 20 minutes and it's 30 minutes, and before you know it, you can't stop because your passion is driving you. And anyway, so I think it snowballs. But if you just set a timer on your phone for 10 minutes a day to start doing something that you've always wanted to do, you'll be surprised where it takes you.
Yep, I agree 100%. So before I go any further, I wanted to just kind of ask Khyl, like, just because I kind of know how it is, like when she starts a business, like, what is your role? I mean, I know you have roles in the business because every husband or spouse has roles, but do you find yourself like trying to find another role, like supporting, all this stuff?
Good question. Yeah. So it's interesting because before we were doing this, we were selling strollers on Amazon, and that was going pretty well. But when I saw how well this was taking off, I was like, I'm going to sell all our stroller inventory and just put it into Rad Swim. And that actually ended up being great. So in a way, it kind of like I lost my main thing. But what was cool is within a year, I realized, hey, when we send swimsuits to YouTubers, it converts really well into sales. That's why I started a YouTube channel. I was like, let's be our own influencers. I didn't necessarily have that terminology in my mind at the time, but I was like, plus it would be fun, And so YouTube's kind of been my main thing, but my role in Rad Swim is number one, just want to support Michelle in all she's doing. And if she has something that she really wants to accomplish, I'm there for her. I'm going to try to see if I can help make that happen. And then the second role is just trying to get rid of any distractions that might be bogging her down. She loves taking care of the kids, so I try to remove distractions and let her do that as well.
I love that.
And then just supporting her and then working on her YouTubes. But you're right, there is always a draw, like, should I be doing my own thing? And so I'm always on the lookout and keeping my mind open for any of my own revelation that might send me down that path.
Yeah, and this could be your calling for right now, because that's kind of the way I felt with Maeband. Like I was her support for a long time. I didn't really do anything, but I'm just like, I'll help you out if you need. But
but that support is like, I would never have done it if you didn't believe in me. I think you believing in me would gave me the confidence to do it.
Yeah, I think we talked about this before, is because I've tried so many things and failed. I'm like, what's another thing? Like, let's do it. If you fail, you fail. I don't care, because I fell a lot. And she's like never failed in her life. And she's like, what if this doesn't work? I'm like, I don't know.
And it's so interesting. We live in a really traditional community, without a doubt. And our type of situation's not common. But at the same time, I feel like, we can receive our own personal directions. And I feel like that's kind of what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And we're doing lots of good while we're at it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I get rid of the conflicting emotions in me by reminding myself of that.
Yeah, and it looks like it's paying off. You guys are doing
definitely a team,
amazing work.
For sure.
Such a team. Yeah. There's so many times when I'm like, he's like my tech guy, and like anything where I'm just like, you figure this out.
I'm the facilities manager. Don't look too closely at these pegs.
Yeah. I kind of built a lot of the things in this physical location, which is really cool. Like everything pretty much.
That's cool.
Yeah. Anyway.
Very cool.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us on our podcast. We appreciate it so much. Seriously, Michelle and Khyl are just like the sweetest, nicest people you'll ever meet. And I'm so glad that they've started this and it's working out for them. And they're helping so many people, and they just deserve the best in life.
Yep. So if you need a swimsuit, make sure you check out Rad Swim, right? Just radswim.com. Radswim.com. They are amazing. I'm telling you, very cool swimsuits. Your kids will love them. You'll love them. They have actually some men's swimsuits, right?
Yes.
So they do have men's swimsuits too. So check that out.
And boys, men's and boys.
Men's and boys. I'm the boy. All right. Well, thank you guys for everything.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
And if you have any questions or comments, write them down below. And thanks for watching the Maeband podcast.
See ya.